everyone, Sharky Toon here. So today's video is actually just gonna be a little bit of a short ramble. It's gonna be a little bit of a quick one. And just because of that, I've been working really hard on my webcomic, so I haven't really had time to actually sit down and draw and record myself drawing. So I decided to utilize Procreate's time-lapse option and basically just take videos of me drawing from the app. So it won't be as satisfying, but if you are using this as background sound, that's a win-win for you. So both of the drawings are actually like cute little drawings I did of for my webcomic of the characters, and that's actually pretty much it with those. Okay, so to get into the topic, I want to talk about art people, and not just art people, but making art friends, which is scary, and I'm pretty sure we all know it's scary, especially with the online art community being such a toxic place. Hopeless Peaches. Other than that, it's just a little bit of a hard thing to do. Whether you're in art school or whether you meet someone at a park and they also like to draw, it's a little bit tad bit intimidating for a lot of us to make friends with other artists. While it actually does make a lot of sense, because as an artist myself, I'm not a huge people person. I don't really like interaction, but when I try to do interaction, I come off as really awkward, and I am awkward. I'm an awkward person. I awkwardly laugh at a lot of things, and it kind of defers a lot of people, and they're like, oh, okay, you just did that. And I'm not the only one. It's just, as artists, not all of us, there's so many outgoing artists, but the large majority of us are really socially awkward people, and we just don't really know how to socialize very well. Which, that's okay. That's 100% okay. But it's just sucks because it's a tad bit hard for us to become friends with each other because we're all socially awkward. And except for that, like, one couple few that are like really outgoing and try to get you out of your comfort space, which those people are really cool. I have a couple art friends like that, and I love them so much. So I'm actually going to be going down a list, and the list is literally just a top 5 type of art people I've noticed, and the people that are specifically hard to kind of just make friends with. And number 1 is the quiet ones. The quiet ones slash the scary ones slash a little bit intimidating. So the quiet ones are also most likely socially awkward, and it's okay to be quiet. I'm quiet. Whenever I'm in public spaces, I'm quiet. Unless I'm around my friends, then I talk too much and someone's gonna have to tell me to shut up in order to get me to stop talking. But if I'm not in my comfort space, then I'm really quiet. So that makes sense. There's a lot of people that are really quiet, and there are really quiet art kids. But there's also the ones that's just like, you're like, yo, your art is like really good. And then they just kind of look at you and they're like, yeah, thanks. And then it's just kind of like, oh. Alright, so number 2 is the ones that stick to their friend group and don't let anyone in. So this is actually common with like literally any type of group that you could ever possibly think of, especially if you are in middle school or in high school. And I know my demographic mainly, and I know the people that watch my videos are typically high school students. So you might relate to this more. I'm a college student. I haven't really actually attended my first day yet. But I've actually heard that this is a problem in colleges too, and actually just throughout your adulthood life, and it just actually depends on the type of people too. It's like I said, it's more common with younger people in high school and middle school because you stick to your clique and you don't want anyone in your clique. This is our friend group and you don't want anyone in it. But eventually most people stop doing that as they get older, but I've noticed it's not very common for art kids to actually stop doing that when they get older. Art kids are actually, I've noticed, more to do that even when they're at least in their 20s, they have cliques. And if you don't fit the clique, or if you're just an outsider in general, it's just like, yo, shoo shoo. Or you could be new to the group and try to be a part of the group, but you're never actually fully included. You're kind of just there to be there. It's extra common with artists, and I've noticed that. And I've always had a problem with cliques. As someone that doesn't really have one particular clique, I have a large group of people that are my friends, and I like to dabble with each of them, and sometimes I want them to all get together and talk to each other. And then I like making new friends and inviting those friends into my life. And so I just never was a huge clique person, and I just never really inherently understood the thought of cliques or the idea. But it's to each their own, and everybody has their friend groups in their own way. But I will say that this is a huge reason why it's hard to make art friends, because obviously you have the ones that just don't really want to interact in general with you, and then you have the cliques. So it makes things a tad bit harder. Alright, so number 3, we have the drama ones. Basically, the drama ones are just conveniently really bad people that have a really good talent. And they are usually always, if they're YouTubers, in their 20s and they act like they're still 12. Hopeless species. It's actually quite upsetting, because I've hung around these type of people and I've been friends with these type of people. The artist friends that become your friends, and then it's hard to talk to them because they make everything into a problem. They try to complain about everything, make something into a controversial topic, and you're just trying to sit down and doodle cute anime girls. And they try too hard to be very self-righteous sometimes, and then they start drama with other people. What I mean by this is causing problems where there are literally no problems at all. People that are literally so bored with their lives that they decide to cause an issue with another person over the complete smallest thing. Whether it be playing an Among Us game with your friend, and then you out them as the imposter, and they end up getting really angry at you and holding that against you and causing a huge fuss about it. Or you completely forgot to post them on their birthday, and then they cause a huge fuss about that. There's also more toxic things that I can deep dive into, like the drama friends that just are jealous, and they will try to discourage you from your art just because they're jealous of your art. And it's just so many things, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this and throw in their own stories, because we have all dealt with the drama artist friend. And those friends make it hard for us, and make it kind of even makes us scared to try and make more artist friends, because we think that they are all like that. It makes us think and look at the community and be like, damn, do I really want to interact with these people? And it just sucks. Alright, so number 4 is the creepy artist friends. I actually have met one artist friend that was a tad bit creepy and weird, and they did end up blocking me, and I won't say any names. It was over a ship that actually is not controversial whatsoever, and it's literally just 2 characters that I shipped together, and it didn't make any sense at all. It made 0 sense, to be exact. I just shipped it because I saw fan art and it looked cute, and I was like, I'm gonna ship this, and I made my whole Discord profile themed after this ship. It was a Hazbin Hotel ship. Now, I want to say the ship, but I don't want the Hazbin Hotel fandom going into my comment section and getting angry, because I know how they are about ships. Even if it's not controversial or really fucking weird, they will get angry all because they don't agree with it. And I don't really like interacting with the Hazbin Hotel fan base, no matter how much I do love Hazbin Hotel, I won't interact with the fan base, especially after this one interaction with an online friend I had. All I will say is they were about in their 20s and said that they were seeing Alistair and they heard Alistair and Alistair is their love and they were married to him and, etc., etc. They had mentioned that they just don't like any ships revolving around Alistair because of their feelings for the character, and I kind of just nodded and smiled at the message. Eventually, I did set my profile actually entirely themed after one of my favorite ships of the show, which involved Alistair. And they saw it, and they blocked me. Which, luckily, they didn't go off on me. It's better than going off on me, but it was just very random because me and that person were bonding over, our love for Hazbin Hotel. Yes, they did say some very questionable things about Alistair, and I was kind of, scratching the back of my head, okay, that's nice, honey. Anyways, but I didn't expect to get blocked over it. We also have the wonderful, magical, weird ones that ship really weird shit and they don't see anything wrong with it. And it has to do with really, really gross and morally wrong things that are gross. And then they try to redeem themselves, quote unquote, and they think that they did nothing wrong because they redeemed themselves. Or they draw really gross shit and they say, oh, well, someone else made me do it. And it's or they try to, basically just try to justify what they do to you because you're friends. And then you have to be like, that's weird. And move on with your day. AKA, this is a lot of people in the art community, and it's actually really weird because this is a lot of the minors. A lot of the older ones are really weird. Like I said, the story that I told and shared with my experience with a really creepy friend, they are older. They were about in their 20s. But a lot of, the really creepy people are, kids. They're minors. A lot of really creepy people in the art community are minors. Mainly because they are misguided and they just need some help at least, hopefully. I hope that's all it is they need. But it's actually really sad to say. But luckily, I'm not out here making friends with minors, but it really sucks that if a minor wants to become friends with someone their own age, then they have to deal with the really weird ones their own age that are drawing really questionable things and shipping really questionable things that should not be shipped. Not only that, but also the really, really, really creepy ones that just come off as weird and are super, super into NSFW art and such like that and adult topics. And those ones are very weird as well. But I'm pretty sure there's a whole list of weird art friends and creepy art friends that I am actually missing out on because it's just such a large topic. But that's all I can share from my experience. And to be honest, I'm going to be dead honest here. If you guys have stories that you want to share about your experiences with art friends and making art friends, definitely drop them in the comments because I would love to hear your stories. Alright, so number 5 is our last one, and this one is the micro-celebrities. Many communities have to suffer through the micro-celebrities, and for some reason when it comes to artists, it's quite annoying because especially if you're at the same skill level, if you're close in what type of audience they have, or even if you're just a really huge fan of their work and just want a simple question, it seems like they're very rude. These are the ones that will inherently ignore you. They will have a type of hierarchy on themselves, and they will basically lift their head up at you. They have at least 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 followers on Instagram. And They will basically use that as I'm better than you, you're a smaller account, I don't have to talk to you. To me, it's quite unnecessary. I think that no matter how many subscribers I ever get, no matter how many followers I will ever get, it doesn't hurt to be kind to others and at least try to interact with your fan base in any type of way and not look down on others. There's a lot of bigger accounts on Instagram I've seen that still interact with their fan base, that still talk to them, at least try, and they don't respond to every comment, but they try to respond. They like the comments and they post to their fan base. But there's the ones that are slightly smaller than these bigger accounts, I say. Slightly smaller than these bigger accounts. And they have at least 3,000 followers, and for some reason, that 3,000 followers gives them some sort of ego burst. And they think that they are the all of see all. And if you ask them for advice, they will be like, I just did it. Or they'll ignore you. They will ignore you. Or some of them just have anxiety and they don't really want to respond very much. And that's just every artist, no matter the follow account probably. Which is totally okay. I'm not shaming anybody that has anxiety or just has social anxiety. Nobody here is getting shamed for having social anxiety because I'm the same way. But I'm talking about the ones that have some sort of ego burst and it's very obvious. They turn very narcissistic. They get that micro celebrity attitude, but in turnaround, they're an artist. To me, it's actually quite weird. And I don't understand being so rude all because you have so many followers. I have experience trying to actually get a hold of an artist that I really liked, and I actually was trying to ask them for advice on something, and I never got a response. Ever got a response. And I'm in their Discord server, and they were quite always in the Discord server. They were always active on their socials, but I never ever got a response from this person. And it was very weird to me. And they had about 2,000 followers, and they even had little rules of like don't at, like, I understand don't at me, but like it was very alarming to me, like, don't message me, blah, 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 blah. But that was on their Discord. Keep in mind, I messaged them on their Instagram before I joined the Discord server. And they were a lot of rules when it came to speaking to them. And it was very odd to me. They probably have a reason for it, but I was asking an actually pretty simple question. And it just felt kind of discouraging to get ignored. Versus, I actually had messaged the creator of Mighty Magiswords to ask for advice on pitching, and he responded less than 2 minutes and sent me a whole list of how to pitch, and he gave me a whole tutorial, and he helped, and it was a simple question at that. It's just very odd to me with a lot of micro celebrities, especially when it comes to fandoms. And especially if they're active in fandoms, they tend to have some sort of ego burst. So they just have this micro celebrity like, oh, don't talk to me. You're lesser than me. And that's just something I have noticed personally. I don't mean to upset anybody with this comment. Like I said, if you have social anxiety, you're definitely not being shamed. And I'm pretty sure you guys know what type of people I am talking about. And it's nobody that has any type of anxiety or just has any type of like problems going on to where they just can't really respond to a message, which is understandable, or like things like that. Alright, so that actually concludes this entire topic of the video today. This went a little bit longer than expected, but that is totally fine. So before I end off, I will say that I do have my card in the description below. It actually has everything that you need in that little link, so I prefer not to link all of my socials down there because it gets a little bit overwhelming. So once you click on that, you can actually find my portfolio, you can find my shop where you can buy posters and stickers I have made, and you can also find my webcomic plus all of my socials. I am more active on my TikTok and my Instagram and a little bit on my Twitter. I'm more active on all of my socials except for my YouTube channel, but I'm trying to be a little bit more active and a little bit more frequent. But a way that I can be is if you guys were to help and just list some like little topics and things that you want to hear me talk about. And I would love to dabble in them and talk about them and have some fun with that. I do have a webcomic. It's in the card. Once you scroll, you'll see it. It is called Dorothy My Darling. It is a romance drama. And if you're interested in anything like that, then I definitely say go ahead and check it out. And also subscribe to it because it helps a lot. Even share it with your friends if you'd like, because that also helps a lot. Alrighty, so if you guys do like content like this and you are new, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, and thank you for watching. Bye!